Welcome, everybody, to a Chop Sports special right here on the Chop Sports YouTube channel. It is a big day for Chop Sports because we are featuring the very first Chop athlete. First of all, it's Sturch and it's Gooch. And, of course, our guest today, that's right, I can say that now, former Rutgers Defensive End, Mike Tverdov. Mike, what's going on, bro?
Not much, man. I appreciate you guys having me. It's been a while since I've been back, and I like how you said former there. It's kind of a surreal feeling.
Kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
kind of weird.
Definitely.
The place looks a little different from last time.
Place looks incredible, man.
We had a couch over here setting up, trying to like shake hand, give the whole handshake deal with the Chop athlete thing. Like, come on board, we'll sell you a shirt. And now my corny self is wearing the shirt itself. But you brought us gifts. I'm not gonna say he didn't. We got a bunch of stuff, new swag from Rutgers. Whether it paid for it or not, we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave that one alone. I told him, I was like, when I worked for the Giants, I was like, I grabbed as much crap as I possibly could, legally that was. But dude, it's been a crazy season, and now it culminates in something that you've made an announcement already. We'll get into that in a little bit, but going back to the Rutgers 2021 year, I mean, there was high expectations. You know, when Greg Schiano's your head coach, you know, tell me what that's like. Well, like that transition, because you weren't recruited by him, right? You were not. You were not our Schiano recruit if the timing is lining up right. You were not.
Yeah.
So now he comes in. What's that like? Like right off the rip, like that I know it had to have changed a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's anytime you go through a coaching change, you know, there's obviously a lot of drastic changes within the program. You know, coach brings in a new staff, establishes a culture. Majority of guys wind up leaving that first 6 months, and then you really start building. And that's kind of what we've been doing the last couple of years is, you know, doing things how he wants it, just establishing the culture that he established. And, you know, it took a while, but guys started to live by it and really not only play like it on the field, but also off the field as well, in the classroom, in the community. So we've come a long way. I can't believe it's already been, 2 years since he's been back, but things are definitely heading in the right direction. I know at first it wasn't easy. We got bombarded with COVID. When was that? I think like January, February, right when we're in winter workouts.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting ready to go on spring break, and they pull us out of our workouts and send us home a week early. Oh, we have an early spring break, and then we don't get together again until July.
Nuts.
You know, so
that's crazy.
Definitely a long time, but you know, we went through a lot of crazy times together, and that's kind of what help build the culture we have and establish the team chemistry that we've had. So it's been a crazy 2 years.
2 years, and obviously five total for you.
Yeah.
And what's led you to the decision, before we get into all that, which is obviously the main reason of why we're here, because I mean, hell, if he just didn't declare what he was about to declare, we'd be like, all right, good luck, bro, and just forgot all about you. No, it's a big deal, man. We're gonna get into that, but obviously, talk to me about some of the highlights. I mean, me and Gooch were in attendance for that 61-14 shellacking over Temple, where you almost picked one off, dude. I was like, in my mind, like the business side of me was like, bro, if he gets a pick in his first game of the season, he's gonna sell so many goddamn t-shirts. But bro, what a game, what a season to start. I mean, it started off pretty hot. And look, you got to tell us, like, playing in the Big Ten, man, it doesn't get any harder than that. Well, right? I mean, am I wrong?
But for him, I would say, going up against the Big Ten offensive linemen, I think that's the hardest thing in college football as far as defensive linemen go. You're having to go up against Michigan, Wisconsin. I don't know. Did you guys play Wisconsin this year?
Yeah,
you did, right? So the offensive lineman that you're going up against, that's a testament in itself. And your best game was against Michigan.
Yeah,
I think that's the best matchup that you had all year.
I was talking to you in pre about where I was for Michigan. I was in Texas. I was in Dallas, and I was trying to get the Rutgers Michigan game played on one of the Texas bars, and they looked at me like I had three heads. I was like, can I just put the Rutgers Michigan? They're like, who are you and why?
Outside.
But I had to see it because obviously, dude, you got to tell me, what was that experience like going into one of the more popular, the Big House. I was going to say the Big House, but I almost tripped up. I was like, is it the Big House? Yes, it is the Big House. That experience, I mean, did you get a chance to go, slap Harbaugh up?
No, not quite, man. But, you know, that's the Big Ten for you. Every week you're playing in a hostile environment, you know, whether it's at Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, you're playing against teams that have an advantage just with their fan base. And, you know, that was a game that was memorable for me because it was a 15-round boxing match the entire game. You talk about how we played in the second half. I think they didn't have one first down until the fourth quarter, something like that. And, you know, we just came together and really just doing our jobs and playing with our hair on fire. Because at that rate, you have nothing to lose, but you have everything to prove at the same time. And that's something that we've been trying to do. We know the year before we lost to them in that heartbreaker, triple overtime game. And, we really wanted that redemption, but ultimately came up short. But
I think that win against Michigan for Rutgers is coming sooner than people think.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that Rutgers has Michigan's number, but I would say that Schiano has Harbaugh's number as far as like the talent that Michigan is bringing to the table, and Rutgers is playing with them two years straight. And honestly, I thought that you guys should have beaten them 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
This year, it was a little much because good special teams play. That's like a classic Schiano coach team. But going up against Michigan and you having your best game, did that lead to your decision at all about leaving?
Definitely. It's like I said, I've played in, I think, 44 games in the Big Ten. And, with that comes experience. Every team is different. Everybody has different personnel, schemes, plays. But at the end of the day, you got to get a feel for it by doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where experience comes from. And I feel like I've gone against, Class A talent throughout all my time.
I mean, if you looked at the list of players that you matched up against, I would say that there's a decent amount of those guys are going to be playing in the league for sure. Because the Big Ten just puts out offensive linemen like it's
breed them out in Wisconsin.
That's the thing though. Every week you're going up against an NFL player, whether it's at Michigan, Wisconsin, Penn State, Ohio State, and those are the games you have to play your very best. For me personally, I felt like one of my better games was against Ohio State. Maybe not statistically, but as far as the disruption aspect, you're knifing into the backfield.
Yeah, dude. I think a lot of people need to really understand about how statistics for especially corners and defensive linemen, interior defensive linemen more so than, but like you're asked to do certain things and clean things up so other guys can shine.
I say this all the time on either our daily podcast or my Cowboys podcast. You obviously know who DeMarcus Lawrence is, right? Like everybody used to get on him for his sack numbers. And I'm like, are you guys actually watching what he's bringing to the table? I found that a lot with you this year. Like, you guys realize how much he's disrupting in that backfield right now? And like, the reason why certain guys can get open and get to the quarterback is because you're bulldozing guys over. So that's why
sacrifice, man.
That's dude, you got to you literally taking one for the team.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Look at the top half of the first round, or even any top defensive lineman that gets drafted. You'll be like 4 sacks in 3 years, and you'll be like, why is he going so high? And it's not about him getting to the quarterback. It's about everything else that he's able to do, free up other players because he's taking on blocks. So yeah, it's different when you're looking at stats for D linemen for sure.
Oh, 100%. And then you go to the guys like Aaron Donald and the guys in the league that make these astronomical paychecks, and you're like, oh, all for 1 sack, all for 2 sacks. Like, you got to realize how much these guys are bringing to the table. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when we were watching you, like, extensively watching Rutgers, because we wound up linking up with a lot of your teammates as well, and really focusing in on the defensive side of the ball as well. But like that's what you brought each and every game. And I attest to your motor. Like it just never stopped. And it was just like one of those things. Like one of the first pictures I've ever saw was you doing like the chop. And I'm like, that's kind of funny.
The first picture I saw was the big billboard.
Yeah, what was that, bro? Who sprung for that? That's awesome.
Man, yeah. I don't know if we talked about that.
No.
Yeah, that was a deal like Rutgers did. A few guys on the team. They did it to fuel other of my teammates. They put one up in Times Square, a couple hometowns of my buddies, and a few months went by, and they're like, yeah, we got to take you down to Union to do this like hometown like special thing. I'm like, all right, whatever, let's do it. They drive us there, and I see my brother there. We pull off on like Route 22. I'm like, the hell are we doing at a truck stop, like middle of the highway?
I'm about to get whacked.
Yeah,
right here and now.
I walk about like 40 feet, and I see my brother, and he's like, look up, and I see the billboard, and I'm like, holy crap, like that's awesome.
What a humbling experience.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to get that in my hometown, and just the feeling you get. It's not the feeling like I made it, but like, wow, like, I've made something of myself.
I mean,
dude,
bro, you go down the highway in New Jersey and you got a billboard of yourself. I would say that's making it.
Yeah, I would say like, lining up as the defensive end for Rutgers University, playing in the Big Ten every year. I think you've done your job. Like you've met all of your goals, and now there's an even bigger goal ahead, right? So the Rutgers season comes and goes. Obviously, you did everything that you possibly could. Before I get into the NFL season or your aspirations, I got to ask you about where Rutgers is right now on the defensive side of the ball. Guys like Aaron Lewis, they're getting extra reps. They got on the field a lot. Do you feel confident knowing that the defense is definitely took the step forward and you left yourself a nice little legacy behind you, knowing that Rutgers can kind of continue the momentum?
100%. The thing about Coach Ciano, he's really key on depth, especially on the offense and defensive lines. And it's critical because you have to have guys that you're able to roll throughout the game. You
Right.
can't go up against Ohio State with your starting 4 defensive linemen. You need guys that you can count on, guys you can roll. And that's something we did a lot with this season. We played a lot of guys that were true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, true sophomores, and they really stepped up. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about experience. They're building that experience so that the following year, when they're much bigger, faster, and stronger, they hit the ground running. So guys like Aaron, Keontae Hamilton, and Motere, other guys along those lines, the sky's the limit for them. They're great athletes.
I like how he
great instincts.
inadvertently named 2 out of 3 of those players are chop athletes.
Yeah,
I
they
love
are.
to hear it, baby.
Something must be connected here.
Shout out to Mo. Yeah, dude. Like I said, it seems like everything's trending upward for Rutgers. I mean, I would bring up the quarterback, but like, my God, like this kid is making headlines.
He's the only person on planet Earth that looks younger than Josh Wilson or Zach Wilson, but that's obviously he is younger. He's a high school kid
right
that's
off
playing
the
college
lunch
football.
table. Like right out of recess, you basically
Literally.
said, "Come on down to Rutgers." What are your aspirations for this kid? Like, or expectations, I should say.
I mean, first of all, what Gavin did is like unheard of in college football. I think I've only heard of that 1 or 2 other times, but apparently that's becoming the norm now.
Yeah.
It used to be strange that kids would early enroll. Now you're getting 10, 12, 15 guys at a time early enrolling. So what he did was really just incredible. And he's just such a talented player.
Yeah, if you look at the recruiting class, they're ranked 22nd, I think, Rutgers, which is
Yeah.
astounding to me.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I know
considering where
our
they've been.
colleague, Jimmy Palumbo, massive Rutgers head, season ticket holder for the last, 80 years. But he was very excited about that ranking. He said,
Yeah,
that's
but that
incredible.
speaks to the talent that WIMSAT has, is because they were like 12th. I saw them as high as 12, even really in the top 8 at some points when they had him signed up. But I think because he entered a year early, they bumped them down the rankings a little bit. And for him to just one player to have an impact like that, 12 spots, I know it was signing day in December, so that changed things as well. But I would say that he's probably going to have to play some football next year.
Yeah,
right?
I would assume there's at least some sub packages for him.
Yeah,
At the very least, right? If
Definitely.
you're kind of, I won't say paying, like, because that's not the real terminology you're trying to use, but when you're recruiting somebody like that as high as they did, you would assume he gets on the field sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So crazy. All right. So obviously the big decision that you made, right? You could have played one more year at Rutgers, but you're deciding to enter the 2022 NFL draft, which basically, first and foremost, bravo, because that takes brass balls, okay, to say, you know what, it's time to go out there and prove what I know already. What went into that decision? Because obviously not everybody is cut out for something like that. Not everybody is mentally ready. Not everybody is obviously physically ready, but like, you're kind of stirring the pot right now by saying, I'm going now. What went into that decision?
There's multiple factors, one of them being that, I feel like I'm in the best shape mentally and physically than I have been throughout my college experience. Another being that I'm ready for that next phase. I've played in 44 games in the Big Ten. It's been an incredible journey. And again, I feel like this is something that, I have to do now. There's no telling what could happen in the future. God forbid, whether that's an injury or some other factor that comes into play, but I feel like I'm in the best position now to put all my chips in and bet on myself. And, I know I've had a good career. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but I think a lot of that comes with, the lessons I've learned, the turmoil we've faced as a program early on, and coach coming in and establishing that winning culture and us continuing to build on it. And I just feel like, from everything I've learned from, Coach Ash and Coach Ciano as well, it's put me in the position to make this decision. And it's something I've talked over with my family, friends, people close to me. And, it's what's best for me at the end of the day. And I know whatever happens, I'm going to feel fine because, success to me is the peace of mind you get from knowing you did everything you could possible to be
I
the
love
best you
that.
can
I
be.
like that too.
love
That
that.
needs to be on a t-shirt. Not to make money, but it's one of those things like that.
So
that hit hard.
maybe we got his draft T-shirt saying right there.
There it is.
right?
Boom.
There you go.
I do have to ask. So when you leave college and you declare for the draft, there has to be some kind of other source of information coming to your way. Your agent.
Yeah.
You signed with an agency.
Yeah.
So who was that?
Yeah, I signed with Jeff Jankovic out of VMG Sports. He's worked with guys like Travis Kelce, Chris Hubbard, couple first-round draft picks. Been doing it a long time. And, I really just signed with him. One, he's a reputable agent. He has really good experience, and he doesn't BS you.
I'm about to tell you a story.
I was going to say, you're not going to believe this. Right.
So
Go ahead, Coach.
you were the first Chop athlete, right? When you made your post on Twitter, I don't know if it was your brother that retweeted it. And shout out to your brother, the Tverdov housing. We want to mention that.
We do want to mention that.
But I will tell the story first, and then we'll
yeah.
let you talk about the whole Tverdov housing thing. But we ended up getting an email from Jeff, and he reached out to us saying, hey, you guys are diving headfirst into this NIL thing. I saw what Tverdov just posted. Do you mind if I call you tomorrow? And we just got a meeting, and that honestly spurned the entire
my knee-jerk reaction. I was like, son of a gun.
He's poaching our idea.
Somebody's going to take our idea that we want to make athletes and this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, this company, I don't know, you might have heard them, Barstool, they started to do something weird too. But they started like just literally recruiting the world. And I'm like, wow, well, there goes our idea. Yeah. But no, it's so funny. Jeff hit us up, and I'm thinking like, all right, either A, he's scamming us, or B, this is actually going to be something cool. And it turned out to be something really cool, because after he gave us a list of 20 guys to go contact. He goes, go help these guys out. These guys are prime candidates that I could possibly sign with later on after their college career. And here we are. So you signed with him.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's good. Like I said, very small world, dude.
Small world, man. Things get around like that, though.
No, I mean, look, he's representing Travis Kelce. I think he cashed in on that. I think Travis might have signed, I don't know, $100 million deal for a tight end, but that's just me. So that's awesome. You have the support behind you. I know you have a big family. I see your family always posting, whether you be your brother, your sister, everybody. They're all involved and ready to rock with you. Now, what is that going to entail? Like, it's one thing to say, all right, I'm going to the NFL. This is it. I'm going to the draft. Somebody draft me. What does that start with? Obviously, you're here now. It's December. When does that prep begin?
So I've been training. I took a week off after the last game because you needed after, going extremely hard since the summertime, basically. So I took the week off. Then I started training at a place called Test Sports Academy in Martinsville.
I know Test.
Very good friends with the owner. They have an incredible place up there. They've been training professional athletes for years. Just a great place in general. So I've been training up there for the last couple of weeks, just getting in shape, trying to get to my body weight. And the official launch for Pro Day and Combine training is January 3rd. So looking forward to it. I'm going to just attack it Rocky IV style, off the grid.
I love it.
And just laser focus.
Great. So much for getting
I know that the combine,
I
know that the combine, it's hard to know if you're going to be in the combine or not, because obviously there's like a committee, they vote. Yeah. It's all kind of, I don't know if there's politics involved, and I'm not going to make you speak on that. No, I'll say it. There's a little bit of politics involved.
Right.
But the Rutgers Pro Day, there is no day yet. Right.
There's not a specific date. I know with COVID, the last couple of years, things have been crazy. They've been shifting it around left and right, but I assume it'll be towards the middle of March or possibly the end of March.
Now, are you working out with any of your Rutgers teammates for the Pro Day, or is this kind of just like you're going off the
time
grid,
to go
like
solo,
you said, Rocky IV style?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing majority of my training at Test. I have a guy that I'm going to work with, to do defensive line stuff, which is going to be an everyday thing. And if I want to on a Saturday or Sunday, I want to get extra work, I can go work out with a couple of former teammates of mine and, get some good quality work in there because it's right in my backyard. Why not? So
I have some questions that I want to ask. And I've always felt like I've wondered this privately, and I never actually had a chance to ask somebody that's actually in this position. So say it's day 3, right? And you're waiting for your name to be called. And you're like, oh, my team. Do you have a team? Did you have a team growing up?
The New York Giants.
So if the Giants are on the
clock.
All
right, so this interview's over.
Right? So the Giants are on the clock, right? And they passed on you, but they called you and said, oh, we like you. We just are going to take this. But if the draft ends, we want to sign you. Yeah. Do you at that point hope that you don't get drafted? You get what I'm saying? Like, because if you're at the back end of the draft, you kind of have to go where they're sending you, but it really doesn't matter, I guess, financially if you sign. Maybe it does. I guess.
It does, for the simple fact that you want to be drafted just because
it's like
the higher you're drafted is more guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Now you can still get a decent signing bonus as an undrafted free agent. It just wouldn't be as high as, say, a early 7th round, late 6th round pick. So obviously the goal is to get drafted. But however, with that being said, if you are undrafted, you get the liberty to choose the team that you want to choose.
I always felt like
you fit best.
Felt like if I'm getting picked at the dead back end of the draft, which is like, that's a testament in itself. The NFL is a gauntlet. Anybody that's getting looked at by the NFL is obviously a stud. But I'm thinking for my own personal reasons, like, oh, I could stick around home. You know, I could sign with my hometown team that I've always loved, and not having to worry about housing and worry about other things. So like the money aspect might not outweigh the. But I understand what you're saying. It's like I want to make it because you want to get drafted.
Yeah.
That's like almost like a symbol in
look,
itself.
Tony Romo had himself a great career. He wasn't drafted.
Of course. And like Tom Brady, look, anybody that gets drafted in the NFL, I said this before, they're a stud. You know,
Right.
You're seeing guys at the back.
There's
end of
only
the
a certain
draft
amount of
coming
jobs.
from Bama and things
There's
like
only a
that.
certain amount of jobs
Exactly.
in the country, and you're looking to be one of them. And,
Yeah.
and I think that's a great thing. And of course, I'll put a word into Dallas. We're gonna need
No. We already
Oh
established.
no, you're
this.
right.
You're going to the Patriots.
You're going
One
to the
way or another.
Patriots,
The
by the way.
Shiano
That's right.
pipeline is real, ladies and gentlemen. Shiano to Belichick pipeline. That's a real thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Do you have your playbook from the Patriots yet?
Nah,
Did we get that
they
handled?
Not quite,
You
man.
already-
I wish, not quite.
That's
but
so funny. That is so funny.
very
But-
similar programs, to say the least.
Yeah, no, the Rutgers way, the Scarlet
Yeah,
Knight way, and
that's
the
right.
Patriot way. It all
That's
makes
right, man.
sense at the end of the day. So obviously you have your training regimen ready to go. You have your agent. You're ready to rock. So now between, it's December 21st as we record this. So now you have 9 to 2 weeks off. What do you plan on doing, bro?
Just gonna continue training. Even Christmas Eve, I'm gonna get a nice pump in,
Okay.
some conditioning. But I'm just gonna take the time to really, enjoy my family, spend time with my girlfriend. Do a couple things I didn't get the chance to do throughout the season.
Oh, you mentioned that you got to watch Monday Night Football last night.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting in my couch yesterday, and I'm watching the Vikings Bears game, and I'm never up that late on a Monday night because I'm up at 5:30 the next morning, ready
Right.
for a long day. So little things like that. Watching football. Maybe seeing like a state park. I'm gonna see Spider-Man.
Oh, I saw
on Christmas
Spider-Man
Eve.
yesterday, bro.
So I'm
Good
gonna
for
do
you.
things I never got to do.
Bring
this season,
tissues,
so.
bro.
That's what
don't
I
It's
told
one
you
of
that.
those. It's one
Don't
of
tell me
those.
that.
That's what I've been told.
I was like this. I was like, yo, it's
The lights
gotta
come
go to the
on, like, all right,
bathroom.
everybody, let's
Yeah.
get out of here. That's so funny. Oh man. All right. So look, dude, obviously we're going to be following this entire journey with you. Even when you do go off the grid, I promise I won't blow your phone up or anything like that. I'll only blow your phone up if Dallas comes calling and they're like, hey, by the way, we want Mike Tverdov. And I'm like, hey, by the way, he's not only Jeff's, he's with Chop Sports too.
Yeah,
So
this is a
put me up.
package
yeah.
deal.
This
But
is a package
before we
deal.
end this whole thing, I have some demo work that I need done. You think you could round
Yeah,
up your
what is
boys,
that,
bro?
Your brother is killing it right now.
Yeah,
that is
man,
a
he's-
great company. Like you talk about I said to my brother, he was also in construction once upon a time, right? And I said, bro, I just want to break shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's do that. And then like all of a sudden, demo work is a thing.
So what is it exactly? Is
Yeah.
it like a
Explain that
flipping
one to me.
thing? Or
So Tverdov Housing is a company founded by my brother right in New Brunswick. And it originally started as a property management company.
Okay.
So New Brunswick is a very popular rental property town.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously the surrounding area, and there's a big supply and demand for property management. So that's when my brother started it, and he's been doing his thing with that the past year or so. But he's been branching out into construction.
Mhm.
Now he's established his brokerage. So if you want to buy or sell a home, you can
Wow.
go through him and do that.
so it's basically like and there's a lot of houses in New Brunswick that need work. So you buy a house, fix it up, flip it, or rent it out. So he's
Yeah.
not really selling the houses. He's actually essentially he's leasing apartments to students.
Well, that too, but he does all types of business, man.
Okay, cool.
He's really been getting into the construction aspect of it, managing construction jobs on properties, setting up blueprints for people to do.
Crazy.
So shout it
Design.
out. How do we have the people find the Tverdov Housing? Like if you need Tverdov Housing services, how do we go about it?
You
Is there
can
a
follow
website?
him at Tverdov Housing on Instagram and Facebook, and he also has a website, Tverdov Housing, and all the information you need to inquire about is right there for you to click on.
So if you
Awesome.
need to rent a house, get a house demoed, if you need brokerage,
He does it
stuff,
all, folks.
I don't
You
even know
sell,
what
buy your
brokerage
house,
stuff is.
look
I'm
no
gonna sit in
further.
here trying to talk like I know anything about what I'm saying. I'm like trying to give a
He's a
brokerage
5-tool
commercial.
player in the world of housing, bro.
Yeah.
He is on his way, and you are also on your way
That's
to
right.
the NFL draft, bro. We want to thank you for, obviously, for coming on here, taking the time. You're going to start enjoying things. So kind of we got lumped into things he wants to do before he gets going, and like,
Yeah.
we're Chop athletes, and we're the Chop
And
Sports
we'd be
podcast and
remiss
all
to
that.
not mention Coach Grasso.
Oh,
Oh man,
Your
Hollywood.
head coach,
Hollywood. What-
Hollywood Grasso.
so he gets invited to what? He was
the Adidas All-American Bowl.
so that's what we're going to be talking to him about.
Yeah.
But then you said you shot him a text, and
Yeah,
He's like,
no, I was joking around with that, but he's just. I'm happy for him, man. It's rare. He
it's
couldn't
great,
believe it
bro.
himself.
The
I'm like,
Grasso family is legendary.
there's about
Legendary.
15
in New Jersey
members within
when it comes to
Chop
high
Sports.
school
Legendary.
football. High school, I remember their dad coaching Roselle. Was
Yeah,
it Roselle?
That's right.
Forever, and just always Nebraska. These guys have been around the world when it comes
Yeah.
to high school football. They've done it all.
Yeah.
The Grasso family's great. Shout out to them, honestly, the Paz, Tverdov, everything they've done for us. We want to, and obviously Lou's coming in tomorrow to do the live show, so it's great.
Yeah,
Coach
that'll be
Grasso, we'll see
real
you
exciting.
tomorrow.
But yeah, so obviously, Mike, bro, it has been a pleasure to watch you at Rutgers. It's going to be even like more entertaining and exciting to watch draft day and see what happens. I mean, obviously, you got the size, you got the motor, you got the build. It's time to get to work. And I want to be one of the first, because I know you have a big family, but I'll be one of the first to congratulate you on landing somewhere, because it's going to happen. You put that stuff into the universe. I believe in it. I believe in those kinds of things. I know you're a little bit off.
No,
Do you believe in
I don't believe in karma, but I believe in,
putting things out into the universe.
universe.
That's going to happen, man. That's going to happen. And we're going to be sitting here looking back at this episode and this special and say, hey, we knew him first. So good luck. Godspeed, all that good stuff, bro. Just keep crushing it. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, thank you for coming on, man.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate you having me. I'm glad to call you guys part of this Chop family that I'm in, and can't wait to see what the future holds.
I'm looking forward to it, bro. Let's get a t-shirt up for you.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
So
Let's
for
do it.
Sturch and Gooch, and of course, former Rutgers defensive end Mike Tverdov, and future NFL defensive end Mike Tverdov, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily on a Chop Sports special, and we'll see you guys next time.